In today's program, showcasing the Showdown. Could the MCG one day host the big game?
Lachie Murphy's painful mistake, a warning to others.
And a champion in the making, Rory Sloane's early career.
Hi everyone and welcome to The Crows Show, brought to you by Optus. I'm Mark Bickley.
And I'm Alana Smith, and on Showdown weekend, it's timely to revisit a suggestion made earlier this season to play one of the blockbuster games in Melbourne.
Yes, the idea was floated by football journalist Damien Barrett before the Round 8 Showdown, and it certainly aroused plenty of interest.
And now he's even more convinced that the AFL and the clubs should seriously consider the proposal.
Another extraordinary showdown in the closest match in the history of the two clubs, and they win by 3 points. The city divided down the middle.
Giving Showdown's greater national exposure is a view shared by many in the AFL community.
I love Showdowns and what it does for this whole state. Unbelievable night to have 50,000 here. It's huge. You guys are unbelievable.
Damien Barrett insists nothing in the game compares to a showdown.
To me, standout rivalry in the game, and arguably is still untapped as to how big it could become in a national concept.
And deserving of a date at the MCG. He says administrators should learn from what's happening in other sports such as State of Origin rugby in Melbourne and Perth.
They'll play anywhere, anytime. They'd play in Iceland for this game.
And he cites another example much further afield.
You've got the two biggest baseball teams in the world, the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. They're taking 2 games of a live season to London to play there. So it can be done. That's the biggest rivalry in baseball in America. They're taking it to another country.
Inaugural Crows coach Graham Corns agrees that showdowns demand a higher profile.
Look, I don't think people interstate understand how good these games are. They're marquee games of football, as big as any.
But the Crows have got their mojo back.
They're always intense, they're tough, they're a great exhibition of Aussie rules footy, and invariably they're close.
Corns and Barrett believe that, at the very least, the Showdown should be a standalone marquee game on a Thursday or Friday night.
And I just know in myself as a consumer, I look forward to these 2 showdowns as much as any other game I do in a calendar. The Victorian rivalries have just eroded to the point of near boredom when it comes to what they once were.
Okay, there's no doubt fans are deeply divided over the issue. Mark, do you see merit in an MCG showdown?
Well, look, I like the concept of maybe doing it once and it'd be a great spectacle, but just the logistics are very, very difficult. Both clubs have a contract with Adelaide Oval. I'm not certain they'll be able to get out of that. And also, whose home game would it be? You know, which club is prepared to give up a home game to play it in a neutral venue? So, yeah, I just think, good idea, yes, but how it's all going to come together, I'm not sure.
Does seem like a lot of obstacles, but does the game itself deserve a higher national profile?
Yeah, I think so. I think most people around the country now are understanding that there is great feeling between the two teams, and all the games in recent times have produced great finishes. So there's no doubt Friday night would be great to showcase it. Saturday night, at the very least, I think is what this game is worthy of.
Would you agree that the showdown now generates the most passionate rivalry in the game?
I've always thought that. The fact that there is some dislike amongst the two clubs, the way the birth of the Crows and the Port Adelaide's involvement in that, and then just some of the stuff that's happened over the last 25 years on field. There's been some real some feeling that it's just carried on throughout the history of all the showdowns. Thanks,
Mark. You suspect it's not the last we'll hear about giving the showdown a bigger stage. Now, round 13 certainly proved unlucky for Lachie Murphy. 3 of his front teeth were dislodged in a clash with Taylor Walker during the Richmond game, and all because he forgot his mouthguard. Fortunately, an emergency dentist was able to reattach the teeth, and the bye gave him time to recover, as he recounts in this segment brought to us by Revolution Roofing.
Injury concerns for Adelaide right now. Lachie Murphy's been down with the doctor for most of the quarter. He's come back on with the tracksuit top on.
All I could think about was Mum absolutely ripping shreds through me. Mum's instilled into the kids that you are not playing without a mouthguard, and that's been since I was 6 years old. Never not trained or played, whether it be basketball or football, without one.
Bruce, I think his front 3 teeth have all been knocked back.
I think I was in so much disbelief and shock that it actually happened. The one time that I don't wear a mouthguard, put my tongue on the roof of my mouth and could feel 3 teeth up there, and I thought, yeah, Mum's going to kill me. A couple of years ago, I had 2 jaw reconstructions. I've had braces for 4 years. It was all plates here and nails and stuff all through my chin here, and that doesn't come for free. So mum and dad worked pretty hard, to be able to pay for that. The reaction 2 hours later when I spoke to her on the phone wasn't all that flash for me. How dare you? How could you run out there without a mouth guard? You know how much time and effort we've gone through those teeth. I just can't believe it. You know I love you. I love you to death, but I just can't believe you've done it. And I was just, I'm sitting there, Mum, I know, like I'm not an idiot. Running out there knowing I didn't have it, I had some anxiety attack. I realised I started shaking, started getting the sweats. I started saying, no, I'm not playing today, I can't do it. I was getting dirty bets and all these blokes coming up to me that never wore a mouth guard. I'd go, nah mate, you'll be fine, I've never wore one, it's all good, you're gonna be fine. 5 minutes in, crack.
I was sitting amongst the crowd and I received a call from the club doctors, and I met Lachie and the club doctor downstairs in the medical rooms. The front teeth were actually moved back to the back of the mouth and the roots of the teeth were actually displaced forwards. I was able to actually reposition the teeth into their correct position. And then I promptly arranged for Lachie to meet me at our surgery here at Mitcham, where we were able to split the teeth together in such a way that Lachie could return to the game. In fact, he actually returned to the game before the game had finished. And it's important to be at the game where that could be done immediately. It would have been much more difficult to do that sometime after the game.
I've got 3 mouth guards now. Yep, I will not be forgetting them ever again, I can tell you that right now.
Still to come on the Crows Show, the challenges keep coming for Don Pike.
Now, the Crows' remaining home games this season are against the Bombers, St Kilda and Collingwood, and the best way to see all 3 is to buy a bronze membership. Just go to afc.com.au/membership. Single game tickets can also be bought at ticketek.com.au, and there are still great seats available for Essendon and the Saints. Well, golf, as we know, is Pikey's other sporting passion, and it's fair to say he's pretty good at it. So far this season, he's seen off all challenges in our one-hole par 3 contest at Glenelg. The latest to have a go is Chris Adamson, the coach of the Adelaide Bite, the Crows baseball team competing in the ABL. With the help of Optus, let's see if his batting skills translate to golf.
All right, Run, welcome to the Glenelg Golf Club once again for the Optus Par 3 Challenge. And I'm joined this afternoon by the manager or head coach of the Adelaide Bite in Chris Adamson. Welcome on, Chris.
Thanks, Tom. Good to be here.
Nice conditions we've got here. It's a little bit cool and a little bit blowy, but we'll get on to the golf in a minute. Are you a golfer first and foremost?
I'd like to be more, but yeah, we'll see how today goes.
You play a bit though?
I try to get out as much as I can. Young fella at home kind of limits that, but I do enjoy it.
That one's going to be safe. Sit down there. You better get something up from there.
Lovely.
Just on the side there. Really getting lower and lower as the day goes on. Now, Chris, nickname Tank, where's that come from?
I've had that since I was about 8 or 9 years old, to be honest. I was a pretty big unit when I was a kid, and a coach one day just called me that, and it literally stuck, so I've been called that pretty much ever since.
Okay, and your history in baseball, you spent some time in America in Texas?
Yep.
Baseball, where were you in Texas? Which part were you there?
I spent the majority of my time in a town called San Angelo, Texas, which is in West Texas, around the oil country.
Yep.
So yeah, studied over there. I was there for 4.5 years playing and studying, and finished my degree, and I came down here in 2011 to play with the Bite, and kind of transitioned into coaching over the years, and here we are.
You're 31, correct?
Yes.
So pretty young to be a manager of a baseball team.
Yeah, absolutely.
You always have an interest in the coaching side of things?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
So it was something that I always liked the mental side of it from a playing perspective, and my position when I was playing as a catcher kind of revolved around that a little bit more, and I really enjoyed that, and talent-wise I was pretty maxed out. I was not gifted by any stretch, so I just really tried to focus on the mental side of it.
Brilliant. All right, well, let's go and finish this golf hole off and get you sorted out. I think you'll be all right down here.
Stop. Yeah, that'll do for now.
A bit weak. Solid. Oh, there we go. It was all just about the putting, wasn't it? just had to get on
just
there.
Just got to get it.
Just get it. It's always a challenge. Thanks for joining us today, and all the best for the off-season. And hopefully you get a good, solid roster and have a good season upcoming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we wish the Bite every success in the new season, starting in November. Now, Miles Paholke is in his 3rd year with the Crows. Plenty of time for Brodie Smith to get to know him. But how much does Smithers remember about the young man from Sorrento on Victoria's Mornington Peninsula? With the help of Thomas Farms, let's find out.
This week I'm joined by Miles Paholke. Let's see how much I know about the Hulk.
Afternoon, Brodie. How you going?
Thanks for joining me, mate.
Yeah, no worries. First time. Where did I play my junior footy?
Is it the...
Yeah, mate.
The
specific.
Sereno?
Yep. If you want to visit, just let me know. I'll give you the keys to the city.
Good stuff.
Who do I live with?
Big Easy, Murph, and I'm assuming Shane because he's never at mine.
Yeah, Shane's over there a fair bit. He stings. What size shoe do I wear?
You'd be a 12.
No, 11, mate. Should know that. What job did I have before I got here?
You would have been using your hands like a tradie sort of setup.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be at a desk, that's for sure. Carpentry.
I started with carpentry.
Yeah, that's
landscaping.
That's right.
Yeah,
not
that's
bad,
right.
yeah.
Sure. That's all I've got.
Thanks for joining me, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
Miles is certainly a popular guy around the club. Stay with us. Shortly, decision time looms for some senior Crows.
Welcome back. About a third of all former Crows are active members of the Past Players Association. Among the group's aims, protecting the welfare of the more than 220 players who have worn the Guernsey. Each week, with the help of Flight Centre, we turn back time on 25 years of history.
Well, I was drafted from Melbourne in the end of 1996, so first year over here was 97. Drafted as a 17-year-old, so I was quite young at the time, very young at the time. So came over here. I was over here for 5 years, and lucky enough in my second year in '98 to play in a premiership.
Number 33, Andrew Eccles.
It's a dream come true. When I was a young kid growing up, this is all you want to do is play in a grand final, and at 19 it's happened, and I'm just wrapped.
I suppose I was given the opportunity from Blighty, and then obviously played the prelim and grand final, but a bit of a blur, the grand final, to be honest. I can't remember too much about it. I can remember the siren. I remember, all sort of hugging. I remember Blighty sort of trying to take a mark over my back, which there is a picture of. I remember the dinner that night and the celebrations, and then the next day at the showgrounds, I think it was, and all the fans, and I guess for the next week or so, all the festivities. Obviously, I live in Melbourne now. Most of the guys live here in Adelaide. So yeah, it's just nice to catch up with everyone and see where they're at and what they're doing. And it's like once you start talking to everyone, it's like you've never left.
Now, whatever happens in the back half of the season, the Crows face the prospect of having to make some tough calls. Here's the Advertiser's Reece Humphrey.
Well, it's come to the time of year where list managers are having to make some important calls about next season, and if you're an older player and out of contract, it could make for a nervous month ahead. Particularly so if you're out of the side. Sam Jacobs is 31, he's played 198 games, he's been overtaken by young emerging ruckman Riley O'Brien, leading many to ask what is Sauce's future. The other senior player walking that line is Richard Douglas at 32 years old and having played 241 games of footy. Both men have been incredible stalwarts for the football club, and both would appear to have plenty to offer for this year at least, but beyond that, it remains in doubt. So the Crows have two options. They either go down the path of youth and players like Dougie and Sauce become superfluous to their needs, or they use them there to add to their depth for next season. They know what they're going to get, and they have them on one-year deals and keep their experience around the footy club for a little while longer yet.
Thanks, Reece. They're choices every club hates to make. Okay, when Alana returns, we turn back the clock on Rory Sloane's career to when the qualities of a future champion first emerged.
Rory Sloane was only 16 when he debuted for Eastern Rangers in the Victorian Under-18 competition. 2 years later, in 2008, he captained the Rangers and was taken by the Crows as pick 44 in the end-of-season draft. What a steal that turned out to be. Thanks to Toyota Good for Footy, Rory looks back on those early years that shaped his career.
So I grew up in the Dandenong Rangers. I played for Upwey Tacoma as part of the Dandenong Rangers Junior Football League. So I started under 10s and played right through to under 16s. Under 12s we won the grand final. I kicked the winning point. It was in the third quarter. There was no score for the last quarter of the game. Under 14s grand final lost, but under 16s we won again. But halfway through the game I was on fire too, but I split my finger open and they thought I split the tendon, and they rushed me to hospital because they thought if I'd split the tendon and they didn't stitch it up in time, I was going to end up with a like Daniel Chick finger and not have no use of it. So I missed the whole second half of the game, and my sister Shay had to go up and collect the medal for me. From a bit under 16s to under 18s, went on to Eastern Rangers and played there for 2.5 years. The TSC Cup's an unbelievable competition. It's just the best of kids in Victoria, really, and I just enjoyed playing footy there for 2 years, really. I made some really good friends there at the time that I stay in touch with now.
Well, the 2019 Toyota Good for Footy raffle is open with the aim of raising $1 million for grassroots clubs across Australia. Do your part to support local footy and buy a ticket. Go to toyota.com.au/AFL raffle and start raising some serious cash for local clubs. Toyota also rewards our Crow in the Crowd each week, and this season our camera is focused on Adelaide Oval's Southern Plaza, and that's where we spotted you. If you recognise yourself, contact the club by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Be ready with some photo ID, and a merchandise pack from Toyota will be yours.
That just about wraps up our Showdown edition of The Crow Show, brought to you by Optus.
Well, next week we'll look at how Daniel Talia is exploring career options after football.
Remember to keep an eye on @The Crow Show on Twitter for all the latest news.
Also check out the club's social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram.
And make sure you're watching Footy Plus when it returns immediately after next Saturday night's game against the Suns on the Gold Coast.
Well, thanks for your company today, and we look forward to joining you again next Sunday
at 11:30 on 7. We'll see you then.
Bye for now.